In the 4th year of my secret crush on Hudson, he got into another fight with the campus queen. Out of spite, the campus queen accepted the confession of a gangster from off campus. But the guy took it seriously and wouldn't let go. Terrified, she finally broke down crying at Hudson's desk, her face a portrait of heartbreak. Hudson chuckled playfully. "What's it got to do with me? Ex-girlfriend?" I thought for sure this time they were done for good. But after she left, Hudson suddenly turned to me. "You go flirt with that thug and keep him away from Miranda." I stared at him in disbelief, my voice trembling. "Why would I? Deskmate, didn't you say it yourself? You'd do anything for me." I froze, too embarrassed to respond. "Hudson, you read my diary?" He smirked lazily. "So what if I did? It's all about me anyway." Chapter 1. Between classes. I was resting my head on my desk, feeling a little dizzy. Hudson reached over and pinched the tip of my nose, chuckling softly. "Class is starting." I sluggishly swatted his hand away, my voice muffled. "Hudson, I think I have a fever. My face feels really hot." I heard the screech of a chair moving. Hudson scooted his seat closer to mine. A second later, I felt something cool on my cheek. His face, with the distinct scent of a guy, surprised. I opened my eyes and locked gazes with Hudson's mischievous, almond-shaped eyes. He was smiling, his light-colored irises dangerously captivating. "Doesn't feel hot." That's when I realized he was checking my temperature with his face. The thought made me flush instantly. I guess not. "But I feel warm." Hudson furrowed his brow, then cupped my face with both hands. Our eyes met. He smiled. "Now it's definitely warm." Guess I was wrong a second ago. His tone had a teasing lilt, like he meant more than he said. "I probably do have a fever. I'll just go to the doctor later." I turned my face away, flustered and heart-pounding. "I'll go with you." "I don't trust you going alone." Before he could finish, Miranda burst in, sobbing her eyes out. Her red, puffy eyes didn't diminish her beauty, in fact, they made her look even more delicate and pitiful. "Hudson, those guys won't stop bothering me. They're trying to drag me to the pool hall." Chapter 2. Hudson stayed silent for a few seconds, then suddenly laughed. Playful, yet cutting. "What's it got to do with me? Ex-girlfriend? Weren't you the one who went looking for trouble in the first place? Just a few days ago, they had a fight, and Miranda accepted that gangster's confession out of spite. From freshman year of high school to freshman year of college, they'd been breaking up and getting back together for 4 years. But this was the first time I'd seen Hudson treat Miranda so coldly. Tears welled up in Miranda's beautiful eyes, and she looked utterly devastated. "Hudson, are you serious?" Hudson looked away with indifference. "What do you think?" "Fine. Don't come crawling back to me again." Miranda ran off, covering her face. I'd seen this kind of drama play out too many times to be fazed. They'd probably be back together in a few days anyway, so I didn't react. I just quietly stood up, ready to go to the hospital alone. Hudson clearly wasn't in the mood to come with me. "I'm heading home later. Want me to check in on Miranda for you?" She and I lived in the same apartment complex. Back when Miranda gave Hudson the cold shoulder, he'd always ask me to test the waters. "No need." Hudson twirled his pen absent-mindedly, face unreadable. I hesitated. "You sure?" Hudson and I had grown up together. I knew better than anyone how much he cared for Miranda. That's why I'd buried my feelings deep down for so long. Not interfering, not affecting anything. That was my way of loving him. The pen suddenly slipped and clattered to the floor. A flicker of irritation crossed Hudson's face. He picked up the pen, then looked straight at me. "Ruby, how about you go flirt with that thug? Block Miranda's bad romance for her." I stared at him, stunned. My voice trembled. "Why me?" For a second, I thought I was hearing things. Hudson leaned on his hand, his tone still lazy and casual. "Kevin, you remember him, right? The guy who almost ran you over? He's the leader of that group. If you get him to fall for you, the rest will back off." A while ago, I fainted from low blood sugar on the street. Kevin had been drag racing with his friends. If he hadn't slammed the brakes in time, I might have ended up paralyzed. I think he's into you. He stayed with you all night at the hospital. That guy doesn't give a damn about anyone. I've never seen him care so much about a girl. And besides, my dear little deskmate. He paused, deliberately dragging out the nickname he always used for me. Didn't you say it yourself? You'd do anything for me. In that moment, I felt like a fool, stripped bare under the sun, exposed for everyone to mock. My mind went blank. That line, it was from my diary, a teenage girl's secret longing. How did he know? I stood frozen, too humiliated to speak. Hudson, you read my diary? Hudson gave a lazy smile, with a hint of genuine confusion in his eyes. So what if I did? Wasn't it all about me anyway? And it's not like I snooped. Remember that campus cleanup in junior year? You dropped your notebook. I just picked it up, happened to catch a glance. So, he'd always known I had a crush on him. I didn't know how to describe what I was feeling. Disgust, shock, confusion, all tangled together. My stomach twisted. I felt like vomiting. My whole body went cold, and my eyes started to burn. Hudson. I won't do it. I'm not helping you with this. When I was a kid, I was bullied at school because of my poor background. Being a top student meant nothing in an elite private school. It only made me more of an outcast. Hudson was the only one who ever treated me like a person. He stood up for me again and again when the rich kids cornered me. Because of that, and because I liked him, I obeyed his every word growing up. Maybe that's why he thought he had the right to ask me for anything. But now, I didn't want that kind of relationship anymore. Those blurred lines, that teasing affection, it was all just bait to keep me around. In that moment, I saw clearly, my 4-year-long crush was truly over. Hudson's face darkened. His slender fingers tapped impatiently on the desk. I'd forgotten, he never had much patience. Ruby, it's just a little fling with him. It's not like you're actually gonna date him. Just break up after a while. Make up any excuse. I took a deep breath. My head throbbed. I said I don't want to do this. Hudson clicked his tongue and frowned. Ruby, after everything my family's done for you, you could at least show a little gratitude. Didn't your mom teach you better? She's old and still scrubbing floors at my house. You should try to make her life a little easier. Don't you think? He said it so casually, but it was a threat, dressed in charm and privilege. That's when I realized he had never seen me as his equal. My pride shattered. I looked up at him sharply, tears falling uncontrollably. Hudson sighed after a few seconds, like he was trying to calm me down, and reached out to wipe my tears. His tone softened. Why are you crying? It's not that hard. Just change the name on one of those love letters you wrote for me and hand it to him. All right. All right. I shouldn't have brought up your family. I stepped back quickly, dodging his hand. Tears fell hard onto the floor, leaving dark stains where they hit. Hudson, I'll do it. But after this, we're done. Don't contact me again. The flood of emotions hit me like a wave. I turned and walked out without looking back. Halfway down the hallway, I realized I'd forgotten my bag. Dragging my exhausted body back, I heard Miranda's annoyed voice. Admit it, you still have feelings for Ruby, don't you? Hudson sighed. She's the maid's daughter. What could I possibly feel? We just grew up together. Of course we're closer than normal friends. There's no such thing as pure friendship between a man and a woman, especially when she's into you. My breath caught. A sharp ache shot through my chest. So he'd told her too. Miranda started crying again. Fine, then what are you gonna do? I already said, get her to date someone else. If she confesses to another guy, I'll believe you two are over. I sent her already. Seriously? Seriously, now calm down. Baby, don't start again. I didn't have the guts to keep listening. I numbly walked away. All I wanted now was to get this over with and never see Hudson again. So I left campus and headed straight to the billiards bar in the nightclub district. Noise, smoke, chaos. My cold seemed to be getting worse. Suddenly, a wave of dizziness hit me. My steps faltered. I nearly collapsed. Hey there, pretty, are you okay? A blonde guy grinned, leering. I clutched the edge of the table, frowning. I'm fine. I'm looking for someone. The blonde guy followed, grinning like a creep. Who are you looking for? Your boyfriend? What's the point? I'll keep you company instead. I shoved him hard, heart racing. Get away from me. Don't touch me. Aw. What are you pretending for? Ack. The guy was kicked to the ground, clutching his stomach in pain. I slowly lifted my head. Kevin's black eyes were cold and sharp, full of quiet menace. His narrow, fox-like eyes had a dangerous glint. He was the kind of beautiful that could cut you. Kevin shook out his wrist, then glanced lazily at me. There was still a wild edge to his aura, like a wolf just out of its cage. You came to see me? I nodded weakly. My vision was blurred with heat. My brain felt like it was burning. I barely remembered why I was here, only that I came to confess. Kevin stubbed out his cigarette and walked over. He narrowed his eyes, voice low and cold. What is it? I paused for a moment, then beckoned him closer and whispered, could you crouch down a little? Just a little, thanks. He was so tall. Looking up at him was exhausting. My vision was starting to double. Around us, people all sucked in a sharp breath, staring at me like I was crazy. Is she nuts? Who does she think she is? Ordering Kevin around? No way the boss listens to some girl. She doesn't look too bright. Maybe she's an idiot. I didn't even register what they meant before the chatter suddenly stopped. Kevin obediently dropped to one knee, his voice calm. Is this low enough? For a heartbeat. The air went still, then the crowd erupted in a chorus of shocked exclamations. But I had no time to process why they were so worked up. My whole body was burning up. Breathing was getting hard. I slapped my head, forcing the words out with effort. Kevin. I like you. Let's date. This is a love letter for you. I hope you'll take it. My movements were clumsy as I pulled a pink envelope from my bag and slowly handed it to him. Kevin took it coolly, tore it open. The next second, he stood up, lifting his eyes to me. Miss, can you explain why the love letter you gave me has someone else's name in it? Hudson, who is that? Crap, I forgot to change the name. I felt like a video game character stuck on pause. I braced myself, trying to improvise, but my fevered brain was mush. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't think of a plausible excuse. Kevin raised an eyebrow slightly, expressionless, gesturing for me to continue. At 188 centimeters, he looked down at me from above, his presence overwhelming. My guilt spiked, and I blurted out nonsense. Mistake. Sorry. I'm sick. I wrote it wrong. Then. I don't want to give it to you anymore. Give it back. Give it. Hey. I stood on tiptoe, trying to snatch the letter back. My movements too rushed. Already weak, I lost my balance and fell to the floor. Everything went black. I fainted. Chapter 3. The sharp smell of disinfectant stung my nose. I frowned and opened my eyes. A white hospital ceiling, blue and white blanket, and 4 in the back of my hand, and Kevin sitting by the bed. My gaze froze. Memories of my humiliating stunt flooded my brain like a triggered switch. God, what stupid thing had I done? I pressed my lips together, forcing an awkward smile. Want some water? Kevin twisted open a bottle of mineral water and slipped a straw inside. I took it with both hands and murmured a quiet thank you. Silence returned. Kevin watched me quietly, his eyes unreadable. Under his stare, my scalp tingled. Rumors about him flashed through my mind. Cold-blooded, reckless in fights, filthy rich. I'd heard the last person who offended him had only posted a few comments about him on the school forum and disappeared from Beijing the next day. I shuddered, my heartbeat growing heavier. About yesterday, my confession to you was actually. I gathered my courage, scrambled off the bed, and bowed deeply. Confess and hope for mercy. I accept. Huh? I stared at him, still bent at 90 degrees. No. Wait, let me finish explaining. I said, I accept. Kevin interrupted me again, face impassive. I blinked at him, my brain overheating like a fried CPU. Kevin tilted his head, a smile tugging at his lips. You confessed to me, right? Yes. Don't I have the right to accept your confession? Of course. That's not what I meant. Then everything's proper, isn't it? What's the problem? I fell silent. There was no problem, yet somehow everything felt like a problem. Kevin paused, then spoke lightly. Or are you playing with me? I jolted, shaking my head frantically. If it hadn't been for fever and delirium, I'd never have dared provoke him. Good, then we're in a relationship now. You're serious? I hesitated again and again. The whole thing felt surreal. Kevin's smile deepened. You've fainted in front of me twice. I was afraid if I didn't accept, you'd really use it against me. I wanted to crawl into a hole and die of embarrassment. I pulled the blanket over my face, pretending to be dead. How could one person socially self-destruct so many times? A low chuckle reached my ears, making my face even hotter. I gave up and burrowed fully under the blanket. Kevin stood up and, through the blanket, rubbed my head. I'm going to get your medicine. Wait here for me. I stayed curled up like a turtle. Chapter 4. Just a few seconds passed before the sound of the door opening and closing echoed again. I peeked my head out, puzzled. That was quick. You're back, Alria. My smile froze the moment I saw who it was. Hudson? What are you doing here? Hudson paused, his expression darkening. Who did you think it was? I didn't answer, just looked at him in silence. After all these years of knowing him, it was the first time I felt like there was nothing left to say. It wasn't that we didn't have anything we could talk about. I just had zero desire to say anything at all. Hudson walked over in long strides, his face clouded with anger. Ruby, where the hell did you go yesterday? You didn't answer your phone or reply to my messages. You weren't at the dorm. Not at home. I nearly went crazy looking for you. You had a fever and still went out alone. Even if you're mad at me, there's a limit to how far you can push it. His agitated voice caught me a little off guard. In my memory, Hudson had always been laid back and indifferent toward everything. Except when it came to Miranda, I'd never seen him get genuinely angry before. If this had happened before yesterday, I might have secretly felt happy, thinking this was proof he cared about me. But now, all I could think about was why I hadn't heard a single message alert on my phone. I'd saved up 3 months to buy that phone. It better not be broken. I turned and fumbled for it by the bed, my tone indifferent. Where I went, don't you already know? I went to confess to Kevin, just like you asked. Hudson was choked silent by my words for a moment. He seemed to realize he was the one who had caused me to go missing while sick in the first place. Irritated, Hudson rubbed his brow, his tone softening in compromise. Fine. It's my fault, okay? I just wanted you to distract Miranda for a while. Kevin was never going to agree anyway. At worst it'd just be a little embarrassing. When he finished, he lazily leaned down and pinched my cheek. Next month's race, you sit in my passenger seat. I'll take you to first place. Don't worry. I'll win back your pride for you. Come on, Ruby. Stop being mad at me. Yeah. I turned my head away, still fiddling with my phone. The screen stayed black, probably dead battery. Kevin agreed. What? Kevin accepted my confession. I lowered my gaze, pressing the power button, not looking up. Hudson reacted like he'd been hit. He gripped my shoulders, forcing me to look up at him. He accepted? I found it funny, so I actually laughed. What's wrong? Isn't this exactly what you wanted? Hudson's expression darkened, his grip unconsciously tightening. Pain shot through my shoulders and I slapped his hands away. Hudson blinked as if waking up, releasing me. He took a deep breath, visibly suppressing his anger. Break up with him, with Kevin's scheming and family background. You'll be eaten alive. When I didn't respond, he raised his voice. Break up with Kevin. Did you hear me? Snatching my girl right in front of me. Do you think I'm dead? Answering him was Kevin's low, mocking voice, his long fingers hooked around a bag of medicine, placing it on the table with deliberate slowness before arching an eyebrow and smiling. Or are you the one looking for trouble? The words were light, almost casual, but the chill they carried was bone deep. Hudson's face was grim, his black eyes swirling with emotions I couldn't read. Kevin, Ruby isn't like us. She can't handle this. For my sake, pretend yesterday never happened. Don't take it seriously with her. Kevin gave a faint laugh, lifting his gaze to him. You overestimate yourself. Your so-called face means nothing to me. And besides, what position are you in to demand that my girlfriend break up with me? For the first time in his pampered life, Hudson had been publicly slapped down. His face turned ugly. Kevin ignored him. His elegant, slender fingers picking up a tablet and holding it to my lips. "Take your medicine." I obediently swallowed. "Thanks." Kevin casually bent his finger, using the pad to wipe away a drop of water from the corner of my lips. I froze for a second, unable to stop my face from flushing. Hudson stared at our completely unbothered interaction. So furious he let out a laugh. "Ruby, how long are you planning to keep up this act? Don't try these little games to get under my skin. You know they never work on me." I covered my ears and turned to Kevin. "Do you hear that? Sounds like a dog barking. It's so annoying." Kevin's lips curled into a smirk. "I think I hear it too." The next second, Hudson stormed out, slamming the door behind him. Chapter 5. After that day, Hudson and I entered a cold war. More precisely, he deliberately started ignoring my existence. I didn't get it. I helped him solve the problem. So why was he the one angry with me? We were like strangers. Even if we passed by each other, our eyes wouldn't linger for more than a second. But honestly, I didn't mind. And more importantly, I didn't have time to dwell on Hudson's odd behavior. Kevin, who seemed cold on the outside, was actually incredibly thoughtful. The more time I spent with him, the more I realized those terrifying rumors were pure lies. Kevin was the definition of a perfect boyfriend. He started appearing in my life more and more, filling every corner of my day. "Race tonight, wanna come watch?" Kevin placed my breakfast in front of me, glancing sideways at me. The zipper of his black windbreaker was pulled up to his chin. His features were sharp, and the tiny tear mole beneath his right eye was strangely captivating. "I think I'll pass." I'd been to one of those rich kid gatherings before with Hudson. It was all champagne, noise, and luxury. I had stuck out like a sore thumb, an ugly duckling among swans, forced to endure endless stares and judgment. "But I want you there with me." Kevin spoke softly. The tips of my ears quietly turned red. Kevin was always like this, dropping direct lines of affection so casually. "Class is starting. I should go." "All right." Kevin gave a lazy, lopsided smile. Chapter 6. By the time Kevin and I arrived, the mountaintop was already buzzing with energy. A few guys rushed over, all grinning and teasing, offering me tea and water like attendants. "Whoa, is this the lady boss? Nice to meet you. Sis-in-law." "Sis-in-law, we've heard a lot about you." Kevin raised a leg and kicked one of them. "Don't scare her." "Hi," I said, holding the cup and smiling. Their attitude toward me was warm, completely different from Hudson's arrogant circle of rich boys. "You wait here. I'm gonna go change," Kevin said gently. I nodded and found a quiet corner to sit down. "Hey, isn't this Hudson's little housemaid? Did Hudson show up today?" "Yo, Hudson, your little maid snuck into our club. Come collect her." I froze on the spot, embarrassed and at a loss for what to do. For a second, it felt like I'd been thrown back into those days, mocked, small, out of place. Instinctively, I began to stand and leave, but a hand firmly grabbed my arm. I turned and found myself locked in Hudson's dark, unreadable gaze. "What are you doing here? Looking for me?" A knowing smirk played at the corners of Hudson's lips. I flung off his hand and spoke clearly. "I didn't come for you." Hudson didn't believe a word of it. Instead, he looked even more intrigued, his smile deepening. "Ruby, come here." The moment I heard Kevin's voice, I felt grounded again. I ran to his side without looking back and whispered, "I didn't know Hudson's friends would be here. They saw me and assumed I came for him." Hudson's smile stiffened. His chest twisted with a surge of indescribable emotion. He didn't even understand it himself, just that he couldn't stand the way Ruby looked at Kevin, couldn't bear watching her walk away with him. Miranda showed up, just in time to see Hudson staring intensely at Ruby's back. Her hands clenched, her face turned pale. Kevin let out a low and took my hand. The hostility in his eyes vanished the moment he saw me. "My bad. I should have checked who was gonna be here. I didn't mean to put you in an awkward spot." His eyes swept coldly over the guys who had been joking earlier. A wave of pressure spread from him like wildfire. "Wait here. I'll take you home in a bit." Kevin shrugged off his jacket, walked to the car, and opened the door. With a smooth drift, his black supercar blocked the only road down the mountain, coming within inches of smashing into Hudson's new ride. Hudson was forced to brake hard. Kevin tapped the horn once, casually raising his brow, arrogant and relaxed. The picture of provocation. "Wanna race?" From the sudden stop, Hudson almost slammed his head into the steering wheel. And just like that, the fury inside him exploded. And Kevin was already pouring gasoline on the fire. "So what? Scared to race me? Showing up just to run away?" The crowd burst into laughter and excited whistles. Miranda sat stiffly in the passenger seat, clearly shaken by Kevin's sudden drift. She covered her face, her voice trembling with tears. "Hudson, let's just go. This is too scary." Hudson ignored her and rolled the window down. "What are we betting?" Kevin gave a lazy smile, voice full of amusement. "I'm good with anything. Hudson, I'm just worried you won't be able to take the loss." Hudson turned on his headlights, voice loud and clear. "If I lose, you can do whatever you want to me. But if you lose, you stay the hell away from Ruby." Gasps erupted all over the mountaintop. Miranda's eyes widened, her face twisting with rage. "So you do care about her?" "I'm getting out." "Hudson, how could you treat me like this?" "Ruby?" Kevin let out a cold snort, his eyes turning icy. A scream pierced the air. The countdown had started. A red car, a black one. Two luxury sports cars roared onto the winding mountain road. Engines thundered, echoing through the night. The speed increased, tighter and tighter. My palms were sweating. I was terrified something would happen to Kevin. They were neck and neck. At the final turn, Hudson suddenly swerved into the inner lane. Kevin didn't yield. "Holy shit! Kevin's insane. That car's worth over 10 million. He hasn't driven this hard in forever. Damn. What a show!" Hudson must have thought Kevin would back off. The two cars nearly kissed, sparks flying as their doors scraped. Kevin suddenly floored it and crossed the finish line first. The crowd roared. Then came the sound of a violent crash. Among the chaos, Hudson's face was pitch black. He glared at Kevin and threw over his car key. "The car's yours." It was an unspoken rule in the club. The loser gives up their ride. Kevin didn't take the key. His voice was cold. "Apologize to my girlfriend. You and your friends." The atmosphere shifted, tense, electric. "Who called her the little housemaid? Step forward, or I'll drag you out myself." He lit a cigarette, letting the flame flicker in the darkness. His eyes swept across every face. "Come on, man. We're all friends. It was just a joke." Public apology? That's humiliating. They were drunk, seriously. Someone tried to smooth things over. Kevin's lips curled, but his eyes stayed deadly cold. "All right. Then you kneel and apologize for them. Right here, to my girlfriend." The crowd went dead silent. Kevin was dead serious. I squeezed his palm gently, giving him a look. "Let it go." Kevin pulled me into his arms and leaned down to whisper in my ear. "What are you afraid of? I've got your back." I stared at him blankly, my heart skipping a beat. It was the first time I truly understood that when you like someone, you can't bear to see them wronged, not even a little. Kevin's family had deep roots in Beijing, with power across both legal and underground circles. When the others saw Kevin was serious about making them apologize, they all obediently came over and said sorry to me. Hudson was the last one. He looked at me deeply, the emotions in his eyes unreadable. Miranda was off to the side, throwing up violently while clutching a tree. He didn't spare her a single glance. I looked away and turned to Kevin with a smile. "Let's go home." Kevin tilted his chin slightly. "There's still one more left." "I don't care anymore." Hudson wasn't worth my attention. I didn't even feel pity for Miranda anymore. Chapter 7. Dorm stairwell. Hudson blocked me at the stairs. His face was dark, and the air around him felt heavy. "You and Kevin, are you serious?" "Yeah." I had no intention of saying more than necessary. Suddenly, Hudson's emotions spun out of control, completely unprovoked. "You've known him for what, 5 minutes? And now you're going out late with him like it's nothing? You've never even been in a real relationship. You're just being fooled by his image. You know what kind of family he comes from. To him, you're just a temporary fling. You two won't last." I listened quietly. Then suddenly, I laughed. "Hudson, don't tell me you're jealous?" His throat bobbed, and I caught a flicker of hesitation in his eyes. What if I am? Would you break up with him? I thought of all the years I spent pining after him, hiding my feelings like a secret I was ashamed of. My eyes stung with heat. I sniffled softly and replied in a low voice, Hudson, don't be pathetic. And Kevin respects me. He's 100 times better than you. Hudson reached out to block my way again, his voice rough and hoarse. Ruby, all these years you've been by my side. I got used to you being there. I thought it was just habit. But seeing you smile at someone else today, I felt like I was going fucking insane. Ruby, please, be good. Break up with him, okay? I looked at him coldly, and replied, word by word, no, Hudson, like I said before, your kindness, I've already repaid. From now on, let's not keep in touch. And another thing, don't call me Ruby again. Kevin wouldn't like it. His eyes turned bloodshot, and his voice grew harsh. Kevin, don't say that name to me. Then suddenly, as if he thought of something amusing, he chuckled. Ruby, what if Kevin finds out your so-called confession was all a misunderstanding? Think he'll still like you? Think he'd come after you for revenge? I looked up at him in disbelief, shaking with rage. Hudson, are you threatening me? Hudson smiled like a bastard. Ruby, if you break up with him now, it's still not too late. Otherwise, I'll just have to do it for you. I snapped, slapping him across the face. You've gone too far. His head turned with the blow. He touched his cheek slowly. Oh dear. What now? Looks like your boyfriend heard everything. I turned in panic, right into Kevin's dark, unreadable eyes. No, Kevin. Let me explain. I wanted to confess to you on the first day in the hospital, but you cut me off. After that, I was too scared to tell you, but I really do like you. The more time I spend with you, the more I like you. I was afraid of losing you, so I didn't dare be honest. Hudson leaned back lazily. You hear that, bro? She didn't even like you when she confessed. You've been played. The next second, Hudson was yanked up by the collar and slammed hard to the ground. Kevin crouched down, fisting his hair and smashing his head into the grass again and again. Listen up, bro. She said she really likes me. Chapter 8. Medical Room. I carefully dabbed iodine on Kevin's hand. He'd gone in too hard. I couldn't stop him. He'd even split the skin on his own knuckles. It took the security guard stepping in before Kevin calmed down. Kevin sat in silence, watching me, his expression distant. A sour ache spread through my chest. I knew I was in the wrong. Had no face to argue. No matter what. At the start I deceived you. I'm sorry. If you want to break up, I won't object. If you want revenge, I deserve it. Kevin gripped my chin and kissed me, fierce and deep. Break up? You still think you're breaking up? His tongue tangled with mine, our breath heating up. My knees went weak and I collapsed onto his lap. I'm not. Kevin buried his face in the hollow of my neck, teeth grazing and licking the soft skin there. Not everyone's blind and stupid like Hudson. I'm the one who knows best whether your feelings are real. I know you're falling for me, little by little. As long as you can love me, that's enough. Baby, do you know I've been waiting for you? Waiting for you to finally look back at me? But what makes me mad is, you could see I was upset. And you didn't comfort me. Who would have thought, a cold, 6 feet 2 inches handsome guy suddenly demanding to be comforted. My cheeks and neck burned. I stammered. I'm sorry, I don't have much experience. So, how do I comfort you? Kevin bit my lower lip in a mock punishment, leaving a mark. He lifted me up, locked the single bed ward door, and pinned me against it. His low, husky voice coaxed. Baby, kiss me, good girl. Here too. Chapter 9. That night, a video of Hudson harassing me and getting beaten up was leaked online. When Miranda saw it, she completely broke down. She stormed into Hudson's hospital room demanding answers. But Hudson insisted on breaking up. In a rage, Miranda shoved him off the hospital bed. Unfortunately, the injured leg hit the ground first. Something must have pressed on a nerve, and it resulted in partial paralysis. Miranda, for intentionally causing harm, now faced possible legal charges. But honestly, none of that had anything to do with me anymore. My future was bright and full of promise. When I heard the news, I was busy preparing my documents for studying abroad. Kevin brought it up casually. I heard Hudson's transferring to the US for treatment, pretty close to your school. Huh? I held back a laugh and played along on purpose. Oh really? Then maybe I'll go visit him sometime. After all, we were classmates once, and his family did sponsor me back in the day. Sure enough, I hadn't even mentally counted to 3 before I was lifted into the air and wrapped in blankets. Kevin leaned over and pinned me beneath him. Why don't you tell me exactly, when do you plan on visiting him? I wrapped my arms around his neck, unable to stop teasing him further. Lately Kevin had become ridiculously jealous, even about imaginary scenarios that didn't remotely involve him. I'm thinking I'll go right after I get off the plane. My Ruby is impressive. A whole transatlantic flight and still has energy to go visit your ex? His fingers squeezed and kneaded my waist as he spoke lazily. If you've got that much stamina, then don't sleep tonight. And no, wait. A chill brushed across my waist as my pajama top slipped down. Kevin captured my lips, laughing low and deep. Ruby, it's already too late.